Okay, I've gone ahead and done a bunch of this Redwork bird on the limb. I changed my mind part of the way through this and decided that I may not want to do this whole thing in Redwork as one continuous deal. But on the other hand, I might want to. So I've been doing everything so far in single stitches. Look over here. Everything's a single stitch except for this one little connection right here. I decided I might want to do the birds and the berries in different colors. Maybe I want to make red birds or blue birds or whatever. So I need to, at some point, fix these birds so that I can sew them in a different color if I want to. But look at this. If I do edit, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. That's supposed to be the bird right there. Let's turn it red so we can see what it is. Alright, as you can see, this bird has part of a leaf mixed in with it. And he also has part of his tail mixed in with something else. Let's color his tail purple and see where that goes. Alright, see, so evidently this line is coming up through here, doing the berry, going around, coming down and doing this tail, and then getting in here and doing the bird. I want to separate this out so that this doesn't happen. And the way you do this is with the, I'm going to turn everything, no I'm not, I'm going to put it back purple again. The way you do this is with the split object command. Let's work on these tail feathers right here. Let's do an edit, right click it. Here is where we would want this leaf section, this part of this stem, to not be included in the bird. So we click on that node and then right click it and say split object. Now see, this is totally by himself. It has turned that one thing into two things. See, we can now turn this red and generate the stitches and have our bird. However, this is still connected to the bird. Let's do this in green so we can see it. See there? Here's where it comes along. We'd want to cut it right here. So right click to edit it. Click on that node right there and do split object. Let's just generate all the stitches. That's no big deal. We'll select them all and generate them. Now, there's another problem. I left off the eye off of this bird, and I've also not done this. If I had been intending to do this as one solid design that never stops for a thread change, somewhere along in here, I would have cut this bird's tail and gone up and done this, done all of this, come back around, I would have done the berry then, and go back and connect it up and then continue on with its tail. But because I may want to do this bird in blue thread or red thread, I didn't want to break it right there and then sew this in the middle of it. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do about that. But I've also left the eye off of this bird. At this little scale here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up here and I'm going to insert a curve. No, I'm not. I'm going to insert a node. See, I can tell where it's going to happen because there's a little arrow right there. If I hit insert, it's going to put me a node in there. And if I want to make a circle with his eye, go back up here to this one where the arrow is. Tell it to go. Yeah. Tell it to go to curve. And it's going to put me a little node right there that I can raise up. And then I can come back here and make that little. Then I can go here and insert a node and put him right there and put me a curve in that one so I can make his eye round. Oops, wait, I'm not done yet. I want to put his beak back together. Let's insert another node right there and put his beak back together. See how that looks at scale. Yeah, that's fine. We can just do that. Now, let's go back and talk about these birds some more. Well, first let's go and talk about this other stuff. I started out doing this in Redwork. I started right there. When I got to the vein in the leaf, I did a single stitch down right there because I was planning on doing a Redwork stitch back up, and I can still do that. I can right click it, parameters, Redwork, and I can change that to Redwork. And I can change that to Redwork. Now, this next thing here, I did this, I attached it to the prior object by hitting the number 3 when I got to that point and doing my little thing right there, and then stopping, and then doing the number 3 to connect it and going on around. This, the program reads this as a single stitch. If I wanted to change this whole thing to Redwork, I could do it. I could click select all, right click it, parameters, right click it, Redwork, apply. This program then has turned everything I did to a Redwork design, which is okay except for on his foot right here. I wanted it to stay a single stitch because I didn't want the heavy Redwork stitches, 2 layers of the heavy Redwork stitches. If you'll notice down through here, oh, I hear geese going over, good gracious. Right here, this is a connection. See that little arrow thing? I'll wait till the geese get over. Now, that was a little stitch or 2 right there where I connected that leaf above it with that berry. If you'll notice, the program did not change that stitch to a Redwork stitch. I want it to do that with this foot. I don't want that foot down here to be a Redwork, or anything else for that matter. If I decided to put a whole different kind of stitch on it, I don't want it changed. So what I'm going to do here, this is number 5, I'm going to convert the outline to a connection and generate the stitches. That didn't make a whole lot of difference in the grand scheme of things, but in the event I wanted to change all of this to a satin stitch, to a little bitty satin stitch. See, it did it without changing underneath his foot. Alright, now one more thing and then we'll quit. Let's go back to where everything, we'll just leave those birds alone for now. No, let's go back to where everything is not Redwork again. Alright, see right there? I'm going to undo that too and put that back to a single stitch. Now, if I want to do these birds in a different color or the berries in a different color, what I might do is gather up all my bird pieces. Let's see, where is he? Here's his red tail. Let's change the rest of him to red. What's that? That's part of his wing. He can be red. There he is. Part of his body. He can be red. What's that? We don't want that red. We want that back to blue again. We can take out, let's turn him back to blue as well. We can group this bird together, group one, and we can move him if we want to, the whole bird, and put him back. I can also move him not on the screen over here, not as in the design, but I can move him to the bottom, to the front of the design, so that he's the last thing to sew. Put my cursor right there till it insert it after. I can also do that same thing with this bird. I see some of his tail feathers are out too. Look, let's see what's in between his body and his tail feathers. There's his body. There's a bunch of stuff in between his tail feathers. But there's another piece of him, right? Is it right there? See, I need to snip out. There's part of his tail. I need to cut that out too. Split object. Now, I can select that. I can select the bird. And I can select his tail feathers. No, it's not going to let me do all that. Alright, we'll just move him down. We'll get that little piece of something right there. That needs to be blue. That needs to be red if it's going to be part of the bird. We'll move it down with the rest of the bird, because we're going to move him out to the bottom anyway, so we can sew him later. Now, see, we can do all kinds of stuff. I think that's all I wanted to show you. See ya.